What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today, I got some UFC fighters versus Greek gods. Now, before I start, let me just say these fights, all of them are based in like a 3-round fight, you know what I mean? Except for the last one. Once you see who's in that fight, it'll explain why it's a 5-rounder, you know what I mean? But let's just get right into it. With the first god in this video, we're going to be talking about Ares, and he's going to be fighting Yuri Prohaska. Now, Ares, everybody knows Ares. You know what I mean? He's the Greek god of war. He specializes in violence and chaos. Son of Zeus. Some of his strengths. We're going to be talking with each Greek god and fighter. He's strong. Strong as an ox. You know, he's got that strength to him. Stamina, endurance is really good. And he's also trained incredibly well. You know, he's got that martial art skill. Some of his weaknesses, however, are he's emotional. You know what I mean? He can be easily manipulated. And his cardio can be a weakness. I have a star right next to it because we don't really know how well his cardio is. I did say his stamina, but we haven't really seen what his cardio looks like in, say, if it was a 5-rounder in the 4th or the 5th. And maybe even the 3rd if it's a high-paced fight. We don't know how it looks. So that could be a weakness. It could not be. I have a star right next to it, but, you know, who knows? Yuri Prohaska, this guy doesn't need an introduction. This guy's awesome. Former light heavyweight champion. Only losses in the UFC are to Alex Pereira. And I don't think Alex Pereira needs an explanation. Everybody knows who he is. One time, Yuri brought 2 crazy guys from his village to his hotel room once. Crazy guy. Some of his strengths, he's chaotic. You know, he pushes the fight. You know, he imposes his will like no other fighter. He's strong as fuck, and he's also durable, unless you're Alex Pereira. And overall, this guy's a fucking samurai. Does this guy really need an explanation? No, he doesn't. Some of his weaknesses are Alex Pereira. I think that's his biggest weaknesses. Biggest weakness is Alex Pereira. Leg kicks are also a bad thing against him. We saw it with the Khalil fight, and we also saw it with the Alexander Rakic fight. And heavy pressure, I should have added a star too. He can be good, but like the Khalil fight, you know, maybe that's just because Khalil's so good, but he was pressuring Yuri, and that did cause a bit of uneasiness to Yuri. But now for my prediction between these 2 great fighters, I'm going to have to go with Yuri by round 3 TKO. I do think I think this fight is similar to the Khalil fight. I think Yuri is getting pieced up in the 1st and 2nd round. I could see Yuri getting his legs destroyed by Ares. I think Ares would specifically target his legs, you know, probably watch a lot of tape on Yuri Prohaska, see that he's not good against leg kicks, you know. And I think that's what happens. The 1st round clips Yuri a couple times. I don't think he drops him at all. I don't think he has the same power as Alex Pereira, but I think he does piece him up, goes to the body, hits him a few times. But yeah, I don't think he gets dropped. I think Yuri just shakes it off, gets mad. And then eventually in the 3rd round, I think Ares becomes emotional. Like I said, one of his weaknesses is his ability to get manipulated and get swayed into someone else's rhythm or something. And I think Yuri imposes his will, and I think Ares gets frustrated that, wow, I haven't put this guy away. I've hit him with everything I have, and this guy's still standing. He's a fucking samurai. And I think that's when Yuri hits him with his classic combo. I think he hits that, you know, jumping knee, and then while he's still in midair, that right cross. And I think that's put Ares on, you know, the back pedal. And then, Yuri just catches him with the left hook, drops him, ground and pound. Herb Dean or whoever, Mark Smith, jumps in, fights over. Yuri Prohaska wins by round 3 TKO. That's my prediction. On to the next fight. We got Hermes versus Drew Dober, who just won his fight against Michael Johnson, UFC 326. But Hermes, messenger of the gods. You know what I mean? Guides souls to the underworld. Son of Zeus, another son of Zeus. Some of his strength is he's a speedster. He's quick fucker. He's got good reflexes, and overall, he's got a good head on him. You know what I mean? He's a smart guy. And I will say, he's usually white. A lot of the depictions we have of Hermes, he's white, and that's going to play a key, which I'll get to in a second. But he also has endurance. Some of his weaknesses is he's not that strong. He's quick, but he's not that strong. He reminds me of Alex Volkanovski, you know what I mean? And he's compulsive, and overall, he is not a fighter. He's a messenger. He's not like Ares. He does the messaging, you know what I mean, of the gods. He's not a fighter. Drew Dober, lightweight contender, holds the most KOs in the lightweight division. And he's beat almost every black fighter in the lightweight division. And look, I'm not racist. I'm saying what the stats are. I'm just saying what everybody knows. He's beat almost every black fighter. Strengths, power against black fighters. He has KO power. An insane jawline. I don't mean chin. I mean, dude, look at his fucking jawline. I'm jealous just looking at it. Look at this guy's fucking chin. Mega chin over here. He's like that guy in Fairy Odd Parents, with the big chin, mega chin or something. I forget his name, but he reminds me of him. Then we weaknesses, white fighters. He has, he beat black fighters, but he has lost to white fighters. And speed. Speed is a big weakness. Yeah, I picked Michael Johnson to KO him at UFC 326, and it was because of his speed. And to be fair, Michael Johnson did win the first round because of his speed. And his chin, again, a star right next to something. His chin, I wouldn't say it's bad, but I wouldn't say it's good. He got knocked out brutally by Manuel Torres, which is not a bad look. But he also got hurt against Kyle Prepolek, and that is not a good look. Kyle Prepolek is not a good fighter, and he doesn't seem to have a lot of KO power or power in general. So that chin has a star next to it. However, let's get to the prediction. I got Hermes 29-28. I think Hermes just does the sweet pea special for most of the fight. Just sticking the jab out there, sticking and moving. I don't think it drops Dober at all. I don't think Hermes hurts him. He doesn't have that power, but I just think that jab is going to be really good. Maybe sneaks a 1-2 every once in a while. Maybe Dober takes a back step. Doesn't get hurt, but it looks good to the judges. Maybe even busts his nose up. Some blood is smearing down his face in the first round. That's a really good look for Hermes. Gets the first and the second. However, I do think Dober drops Hermes in the third, but he doesn't get finished. So maybe with like 2 minutes left, Dober just lands a good, not 1-2, but just like a combo, just like he did against Michael Johnson. Puts the left hand out there, comes over the top with the right hand, drops Hermes. Hermes tries to scramble, some ground and pound, but it's just not enough time for Dober. He wins that round, but he loses the first and second. 29-28 Hermes. Good win. Yeah, bad look for Dober. But 1-1 against the UFC gods and Greek gods and UFC fighters. Next up, Poseidon versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. Let's get into it. Poseidon. Do we need an introduction for him? I think he's one of the most well-known gods. God of the sea. His main weapon is a trident. And I'm not saying he only uses a trident. Brother, not son, but brother of Zeus and Hades. Strengths. He's strong. He's a strong guy. And dexterity. Yeah, he uses a trident mainly as a weapon, but he's got good hands. He can do a little 1-2 down the pipe. Nice. He's good with his hands. Flowing cardio. This guy has good cardio, and he's got that flow to him. That flow state. He's not too panicky at times. However, his weaknesses, his ego, he's very emotional too, and limited power. Now, I said he's strong, which he is, but that comes with a limit. It comes with a star next to it. You know what I mean? He can have one round of just fucking pure one-punch death power, and then in the second and third, it's completely gone. And you could say that contributes to cardio and shit, but it's not like that. Okay, if that makes sense. Getting on to his opponent, Khabib Nurmagomedov. His name is long as fuck. That's why I just put an N. But everybody knows him. Former lightweight champion. Retired, undefeated, has no losses as a pro. Has spent more than 2-3 years in Dagestan. That's an incredible skill and attribute. Even though, yeah, he is Dagestanian, he still spent, more than 2-3 years. His strengths, grappling. This guy is, he gets a hold of you and he takes you into his realm and you ain't getting back up. And even if you do, you going back down. You know what I mean? And he's got good thud. He doesn't have power. He's got good thud. Okay? Cardio. This guy's a beast. He's got good cardio. And he's also calm. We rarely see Khabib mad and shit. The only time we really have seen him mad was after the McGregor fight. And that was after he neck cranked Conor McGregor. And the whole brawl started in the MSG. But that was after the fight. So he's, 99% calm. His weaknesses, they're not a lot. We don't really know a lot of his weaknesses. I guess his biggest one is striking. He's not the best striker. Yeah, he's got thud, but he's not the best striker. We saw him drop Conor, but I would say that's mainly due to the threat of the takedown. He feinted the takedown, Conor reacted, and then he got hit with the right overhand. And then also I have pressure, but also with a star. He's not the best under pressure, but then again, there's a reason he's undefeated. This guy's insane. So I'm kind of just, what's the phrase? Reaching for straws, reaching for the top feather, and I can't really pull it down. I don't really know what to say for weaknesses because we don't know a lot of them. But yeah, let's get on to my prediction. I just think he's going to sub him. I think he's going to get him. I think this is, I wouldn't say similar to the Conor McGregor fight. I think Poseidon is better than Conor McGregor. I think, honestly, Poseidon would maybe even do a little bit better against Conor than Khabib did. But I do think, even though, Poseidon is the god of the sea, I think he's still afraid of the takedown. He knows who Khabib is. He probably watched tape on him. And I think that sets up the threat of the takedown. And I think it's similar to the Conor McGregor fight, as in he lands a good punch on Poseidon because of the threat. And I don't think it drops him. I just think it makes him, take a step back, kind of shocks him. And then eventually in the first round, he gets Poseidon down. I don't think there's going to be a TKO or a submission in the first round. But, dude, you can have good cardio all you want. If you're getting taken down by Khabib, you're getting drained of that cardio. Honestly, and I think that's what happens. I think he survives the first round, but then in the second round, Khabib right away, right from the bell, just rushes Poseidon, takes him down easily. And then eventually, I could maybe see an armbar. Or more, I think the most likely situation would be a rear naked choke. Poseidon works up to his feet, but eventually Khabib just turns him, gets on his back, gets the body triangle, just fucking hammers his face with a good few punches, and then eventually just sinks that rear naked choke in. So yeah, now it's 2-1 UFC fighters. Let's get to the next one. A lot of people don't know this one. Hypnos. I could not find a better picture. This is taken from Hades, the video game. Great video game. But he's going to be fighting Bilal Muhammad. Let's get to Hypnos. Yes, Hypnos. The word hypnosis is named after him. There's a reason for that. The Greek god of sleep. And there's a reason why I put him against Bilal Muhammad, but we'll get to that. He's put Zeus, king of the gods, to sleep 2 times, and I think that really shows his ability to do that. He put Zeus to sleep one time in the Iliad. If you don't know what Iliad is, it's basically I wouldn't say the tale of the Trojan War, but that's a big part of it. That's what it's mainly known for. Great story. Read it. And then also read Odyssey, both by Homer. Great guy. But he lives in a cave. Some of his strengths is he's a speedy guy, just like Hermes, not as fast. He has good sleep induction. What I mean is like he lulls people into his realm. He makes them calm. He doesn't really do anything. He gets the fighter calm and shit, and then he enacts his plan. And he also has a good chin. Weaknesses, can be overwhelmed, and he's a bit lazy, and honestly, he's a coward. He's a kind of afraid. He's a pussy. And he also has a lack of power. Next up, Bilal Muhammad. Remember the name? What's his name? Bilal Muhammad. Former welterweight champion. I don't think this is a hot take, but he kind of looks like the tortilla from Sausage Party. Okay? That's not a hot take. I think a lot of people agree. Next up, he says he has hands like Canelo. He's got those Canelo hands. Does he, though? Who knows? I don't think so. Some of his strengths. Wrestling. He is a really good wrestler. I think a lot of people do not speak highly enough of his wrestling. I think he's underrated in that department. He's got good cardio. We saw that with the JDM fight. Even though he was losing, he didn't slow down, really. He kept that pressure. And he has good top control. Weaknesses. Striking. He's not the best striker. He's not that fun to watch. He's one of the most boring UFC fighters. And that's not a hot take. Everybody agrees with that. And also, bottom grappling. He's not good on the bottom. We saw him get cut open by Leon Edwards with, like a minute left to go. Wasn't that good of a good look. Wasn't that good of a look. There we go. Wasn't that good of a look. But, let's get to the prediction. 30-27 Bilal. Listen, Hypnos, he can put people to sleep. But you're not going to be able to put Bilal, remember the name, Muhammad, to sleep when he's too busy putting everyone else to sleep. You get what I'm saying? You get my vibe. And Hypnos is not good under pressure. And I will say, Bilal is good with the pressure. He's a good pressure. We saw that with the JDM fight. Even though he was losing, he put that pressure on. He doesn't have power at all. Yeah, that he TKO'd Sean Brady on the feet. That was good, I guess. But Sean Brady has a questionable chin. Okay? And I think Bilal just goes in there, gets in his face, takes him down, and I don't think he submits him. I don't think he TKOs him on the ground. But I wouldn't say he really wet blankets him either. I think it's a little bit of a wet blanket performance. But I also think he gives a bit of a ground and pound. I think he just does his little pitter-patter, makes the judges think, oh, Bilal's definitely winning. Doesn't make the ref stand him up. Basically just tells Herb Dean to get the fuck out of the way. And yeah, I think it's just domination. Bilal wins 30-27. Not that big of a surprise. Good performance. Doesn't get him a title shot. But last up, we got Zeus. This is not a surprise. If I was going to do this video, I had to include Zeus. And I want you to take a quick second and guess who I'm going to pair him up with. Who is the king of the gods fighting? It's going to be John Bones Jones. Okay? Zeus, king of the gods, specializes in sky, thunder, and storm, has multiple god children, and also multiple demigod children. He is the father of Perseus. He is the father of also Achilles. Achilles being, the most famous demigod in my mind, I'm pretty sure. Strengths, power, footwork, chin, weakness, lust, and he can be outsmarted. He's smart, but he can be outsmarted. And I wouldn't really say his grappling has been checked. There's not really a check mark right next to that line, the box. So that's weakness. John Jones, former light heavyweight and heavyweight champion. considered to be the GOAT of the sport, the number one. PED situation, yeah, whatever. But yeah, a lot of people think he's the GOAT. He's a little fruity. We saw that with the whole situation with Hasbullah. That broke headlines. So a little fruity. And also, he's just got a good team behind him. He has the best sparring partner, his wife. Really good sparring partner. Helps him out tremendously. Some of his strengths: striking, wrestling, and cardio. He has really good cardio. Weaknesses: boxing. And yeah, he doesn't have the biggest boxing advantage. He's not that best boxer. But also, he's not that good against heavy-based boxers. We saw that with the Dominic Reyes fight. He doesn't have a lot of power. And he's kind of weak against leg kicks. Look at his legs, dude. He's got small legs. Okay. Now let's get to my prediction. I think it's going to be similar to the Dominic Reyes fight, but for a different reason. I think Zeus, he comes out there like Dominic Reyes. He watches that fight. He knows what to do. He comes out like Reyes with a boxing heavy approach, pieces John Jones up. But unlike the Reyes fight, I don't think it's a robbery in that John Jones wins. I think Zeus wins a 48-47 split decision. Now, I included the split decision because I think that's the robbery part. I don't think it is. I think it's a UD. I think it's Zeus wins, beats John Jones by unanimous decision. However, in the last two rounds 4 and 5, I think that's when John Jones begins to take over, take Zeus down, beats him up, shit like that. Maybe gets one or both rounds, who knows. But I think Sal D'Amato, if he's judging, I think he honestly gives the entire fight to John Jones. That guy fucking sucks at judging. He's not the only judge that sucks, but he's one of them. But yeah, I think Zeus wins. I think Zeus beats the GOAT of the sport. Maybe, probably doesn't knock him down at any time, just pieces him up. I think it's very similar to the Reyes fight, like I say. But yeah, I think he wins. So yeah, that's my video. Greek gods versus UFC fighters. Let me know in the comments if you guys agree with my takes. Let me know if I should make another video like this, maybe with Norse mythology gods instead of Greek gods, or if I should do another video with more Greek gods. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Greatly appreciate it. Stay tuned for my next one. Catcha.